beats carry us when our feet don't feel like moving. When we're getting too old, I think. But Jim feels like singing blues or something, rock or...
Oh, yeah, I feel like standing on the corner down in New Orleans.
Well,
Nobody knows.
That's the opening to
Nobody
King of the Concrete
knows.
Jungle, which is a Wigmore Allen Gibbons tune, and that's Keith on the guitar, and he does the lead on it. It's all about a crow who lost his tree. The tree died, and he used to perch in the tree, but now he's king of the concrete because they replaced it with a concrete pole. So now he sits on the concrete. King of the Concrete Jungle.
King of the Concrete Jungle.
But you can take it any which way you want. I used an image of the old Brazilian... what do they call those poor sections where they're built on the side of the hill?
Oh, yeah. Called slums.
Yes. Yeah, well, let's use it for what they are. Yeah, so that's what I pictured, King of the Concrete Jungle.
I wonder if they built them under, like, some hidden things.
Oh, you think they are covering the mountain? They deliberately covered the side of the mountain with the shanties.
Because it's not really a mountain.
Oh,
Under that mountain happens to be a
King Kong, Godzilla?
a ship so big.
Oh.
Oh, the reason I'm saying this, folks, we're watching a guy that, what's his
Ross
name?
Cuthart, or Cuthart, or how do you pronounce it?
Ross.
The program we actually got it from is called Vetted, and it's a UFO designated channel.
But this guy's a pretty sensible man.
He has a program that I've seen on that same program, same news network that Chris Cuomo went to after CNN, called News Nation.
News Nation.
And so he's got a special on there, and he does the oddball stuff. He's out there covering UFOs.
And he boldly covers it.
Yeah, he's
like he doesn't do it with, I don't know. The point being, he was just talking to a person who was being, either he's interviewing
podcast.
Or that guy's interviewing him.
Yes.
That guy's interviewing him.
Yeah.
And they were talking about UFOs, and they said, well, what this Ross was saying, what if they're so big that they've actually hidden them under a building?
Yes, they couldn't move them.
To
Area 51 for investigation.
So they build a building over them.
So that they can carry on investigations within the confines of a building.
And what he said was, he mentioned something along the line, okay, all the debunkers are saying this doesn't exist.
Yeah, of course.
It's just a building. Let us in.
Yeah.
And he says you won't get in.
No.
You cannot go and investigate if there's anything under that building. And that got me thinking, Area 51, just let them in. Let them see that there's no object. You say there's no objects in there. Let them in. Do a tour. But they won't, because it could be that quick, that easy, that fast to debunk.
Do you remember Geraldo Rivera and his Al Capone vault?
Yes, I do.
The question was, what's in Al Capone's vault? We have the vault. We're going to open it live on TV.
Wasn't that in Canada? Wasn't that in Moose Jaw or someplace like that?
Was that where the vault was?
I thought so.
Okay, you got me. I cannot verify that. But I do remember the scenario where there's an actual vault. It belongs. It's verified as Al Capone's, but nobody's ever opened it. And they are going to open it first time on live TV. There was nothing there.
Nothing in it. Empty. So the same idea, without even all that fanfare, those who claim this, it should be a very simple thing to prove them dead wrong. Why not do that?
Right.
Why not just do that? And why not do that for Area 51?
If the vault is empty, show us.
There's never been a captured piece of machinery from another world,
debris
right?
from crash, biological organism crash.
Then what is in there? What is in that place there that you won't let anybody in? What is in there? A stealth fighter? We've seen them. You know what I mean? So what is it you're hiding? So if nothing, open the doors.
This sort of is a segue and leads in on, we haven't covered too many of these UFO things, but this one, again, the program, it just came up, so I just clicked on it because I recognized him as well. And I do like his presentation of his material. But that he's referring to the Grush testimonies before the U.S. Congress, where Schiff said, what is that?
Yeah, what am I looking at?
What am I looking at? And then they said, well, we can't tell you because that's for the next meeting, which is behind closed doors, and you'll never hear what was going on anyway.
That's for the closed door meeting.
That's right.
And And it was definitely something. It took 15 minutes or something to get it down to a place for a split second, and it looked like a diamond floating
Yes.
through the sky.
Well, that's the odd part. It's a diamond.
Yeah, and
Not your usual UFO.
And that was it. And the rest is for the closed door. And I got a feeling Schiff was a little bit chewed out for that. Why did you persist so long? You knew it's for closed door. Because remember, when they first did that meeting, and I looked out and saw all the empty chairs saying reserved, but they're all empty. And I'm going, well, this can't be that important until I put two and two together. They know all this crap. The rest is for the closed door
right.
that
They're
they're
telling
not
you all the
going
stuff
to
that's
tell
public,
you.
accessible information.
So I can almost promise you there's definitely something there. I don't know what it is. And there was another official, like a governor or somebody, briefly, and nobody really went at him. He was indicating time travel,
Wow.
that they're us. He was indicating that.
So
multi-dimensional
The
time.
Jim I'm talking to might not be the Jim of this timeline.
yeah.
You're the Jim from the future.
Well, that these hideous beings are us
Millennia.
2,000 years into the future.
Millennia.
No, he didn't say that for sure, but he did mention it. And nobody went, hey, whoa, stop right now. What do you know about this? You know, because he was talking about dimensions and time shifting.
That's dimensions, not dementia.
Yeah.
Okay, one of them.
Not what I have.
Not what most of us have. All right, well, that leads us into other discussions, such as the SpaceX launch. Space Flight 9 did happen. And
it was a whopping failure.
they couldn't, well,
But
it did lift off.
In their defense, as a reporter said, surprisingly, a reporter said, well, you know, this is how SpaceX does things. They've got sensors all over these things in order to find out why it blew up, what went wrong, and why it went wrong. And why the dispenser door didn't open, I have no idea. That must infuriate Musk. Like, how can the door not open? You know, like, are we not at that point at least? But apparently he's looking at every second or third week to launch now.
Really?
Now.
Okay, so this was the end of May, so we're expecting mid-June for the next one.
The next launch.
Well, apparently he's got enough boosters and starships already queued up and ready to go.
Yep.
And apparently this ship had, I'm going to say, 3 engines reused in this one.
There you go.
And one that's on its 4th light. So again, when we talk about reiteration, like using
Wasn't
the
this
starship
a booster?
again and again
Wasn't this
and
a
again.
booster launch for the second time?
Yes, the whole thing.
And it blew up though, right? On the way back,
yeah,
right? On the
well,
way
they were
back?
destroying it. It was never intended to come back to be a caught one. So the data, they were trying to put it at one of the steepest inclines. So the forces were going to be so incredible. So it was going to be just self-destructive, but they wanted to see the tolerance of it.
How far they could push it.
Yeah, and they wanted, you know, the
the
steeper you're in.
angle,
Yeah, so if you're going into a headwind and you're straight up, you feel it. But if you lean into the wind, you can walk a little easier. Well, that's the same positioning as the booster. So it was never intended to be recovered. But the Starship, they lost control. And that was why they detonated it, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things to learn. Well, it's always an iterative process, but how many iterations does it take? Well, nobody's ever built something this big.
Yeah. Oh no. And people can't grasp the size of this thing. I try to comprehend it myself. I try. I got a picture of them all when it's being rolled out. The guy. I'll show. Did I show you that? They're all the workers are sitting.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, and room for more. A dozen more people at the front, not covering the width, just the width of this rocket, and 400 feet high in the air. That's a brute.
It is a brute. Yeah. And how many millions of tons of fuel? 500
million pounds of the, I don't know if there's more now, but 500 million pounds of fuel.
Wow.
In the one that went up before.
Yeah. It's awesome. And I got to say, you know, I just stumbled upon it. I wasn't looking for it, but I saw it. And I look at the countdown and I thought, I'm going to sit here and watch this. So I queued up all the usual Marcus House and Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, and then SpaceX feed as well. But it became very clear within minutes of the liftoff that nothing was going to go.
Really, eh?
Yeah, it was
sad. By the time I clicked in, I just heard some guy talking about the vibrations of the taking off were just out of this world.
The
And then
sound
by the time I
vibrations,
got
yeah.
into it, I knew it was a failed mission. So
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I don't have to watch a failed mission. I'll wait to see the next one go up and be successful.
Yes.
It's always better watching it with someone anyways,
Oh,
like
yeah,
sitting with
it
you
is.
and watching
Yeah,
it, because
yeah.
we can get each other excited about it
Well,
all.
it was in the evening, so it was about 6:30 yesterday,
Yeah,
7,
yeah.
something like that. So, and that was designed because they wanted to bring Starship down in the light of the morning so that they could get good footage. So they had it all. The Starlink stuff is
Yeah, yeah.
being developed with every launch too. They've got far more cameras, far more capability of broadcasting through space, through every stage of this thing than ever before. So everything's getting better. It's just a question of when will it all work?
When will it all? Well, there's a lot to work.
Or maybe they need to build a building
So far, I
around
think
it.
the first one was the most successful. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy. Jim and Terry Show, talking about things out of this world and evidence that may need weighing. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
Bye bye for now.